The state of the running back in the NFL right now is in cahoots. There are many different arguments going around that are circulating in this offseason due to just kind of what's happening with running backs who are trying to re-sign with their teams or free agent running backs or so forth. We've seen players. We've seen kind of the biggest names of the running back position who are meeting up for kind of like a state of the union of the running back position in the league due to the fact that they think they're being underpaid. And I just wanted to hop on here and do a little impromptu show on what I think is going on, kind of what my opinion is, if it's even worth anything. But I just wanted to talk about it because I am a diehard fantasy football player. And one thing that we joke about in that circle is, running backs don't matter. And so it's crazy because we're kind of seeing it play over into the actual NFL. And so it's no longer just a saying that's floated around in the fantasy community. It's actually happening in real time in the league. And so I just wanted to kind of answer a few questions that I've seen or a few arguments and give what I think. I know that whatever I say is completely subjective and it may not hold a lot of merit, but it's food for thought. And I wanted to kind of stir the pot and see what everybody else thinks. And if you're watching, feel free to drop your opinion, what you think about the running back position in the NFL and what you think they deserve to be paid. And so, first things first is we see these guys who are not demanding, but, asking for big money. And the issue at the running back position is that running backs, if they have productive seasons early on in their career, it hurts them when it's time to, sign a new contract. That's the one caveat about playing running back in this league is that if a team runs you into the ground your first 4 or 5 years in the league, it hurts you in your next contract. You're worn down. You're a used product. You're not, that shiny new car coming out of the lot anymore. And it sucks because that's just kind of the landscape right now for the running back position. And so if I were an NFL GM, I probably would not pay a running back buku's amount of money right now too, because the nature of the league right now is more pass happy. It's driven to be more offense centric, and everybody wants to see like those elite passing games, those high volume passing games right now. The rules are being sculpted around those right now. The NFL itself is pushing for that type of play because it draws in more casual viewers. And so in a league that, even just 20 years ago, 2 decades ago, if we're looking all the way back to when it first started and its early years, like running back was the position, hands down. There was quarterback and running back. That was it. Everybody, if you had an elite running back, you were an elite team, hands down. But now we've seen it become more focused around the quarterback. And data has proven that the quarterback is the most important position in the NFL. And I don't think many NFL fans would argue with me against that. But one thing that I'm seeing is I'm seeing a steady decline in running backs who are, just great pure runners. And I think there's going to be less of a demand for that in the league because it's not warranted anymore. Derrick Henry, he's an amazing running back. 20 years ago, he would have been a league MVP. He would have been remembered as one of the greatest players in the NFL of all time. Would have been had like a Jim Brown aura to him. But in today's league, where that slow type of offense doesn't really get you to the playoffs or the Super Bowl, it's not wanted anymore. Teams want running backs who can catch passes out of the backfield, who can make explosive plays, who can really make something happen in space. And so what I'm seeing is, I'm not saying that running back is not important. It is. It still is. And there's just a lot of saturated talent in that pool right now. You have a lot of good running backs coming out of college who can do the same thing as a runner. I'll get to, my point next. But as a runner or as a pass blocker or as a pass catcher, a lot of these guys can do everything individually. And we see these teams kind of get two or three guys. This guy is a good runner. This guy is a good pass catcher. This guy is a good pass blocker. And so you have three of those guys in the backfield, and each of them are less than $1 million per year. And so you have that committee that can do everything you need it to for way less than what you would have to pay, Saquon Barkley or Austin Ekeler to do. And I don't want to discredit the running back, because I still think there's a chance for a lot of running backs to make big time money. And we're going to see that of like guys who are elite weapons in the passing game will get those contracts. Guys who specialize in the passing game. Think about like Alvin Kamara. He was great pass catcher out of the backfield. He got paid. Christian McCaffrey, he's one of those guys who got paid because he can do everything. Pass block, run, pass catch. He can do it all. So, of course, he's going to get paid. One of the greatest talents in this era. Bijan Robinson. Bijan has the most total cash guaranteed out of any running back in the league right now. It's Bijan, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara. That's crazy. And so he's a rookie, but it's because he has fresh legs and he can receive out of the backfield and he can pass block, and obviously he's a great runner. So it's, we talk about the struggle of running backs coming out of their, rookie contract. Like they have diminished value because they've been worn down. They're a used product. But we've also seen a elevation in rookie contracts themselves. So look at Bijan Robinson alone. That's amazing that he's getting paid that much coming out. He has proven value in all facets of the running back position, and he's going to get paid for it. And I think that for guys who can do everything, guys who perfect their pass blocking, guys who perfect their pass catching, and guys who also perfect their running ability, they will get paid. Now, if you have a guy who's really just good at one or the other, or just two of the three, a GM is going to bring in another guy who does, pass blocking well. Think about 2 years ago. Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott shared the backfield in Dallas. Everybody could see that Tony Pollard was 10 times more explosive than Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott just lost his second gear. He wasn't the same explosive runner that he used to be, but he was playing more time than Tony Pollard because he was an amazing pass blocker. And teams love that. It's invaluable for some offensive coordinators. And, it's something as a fan, as a casual fan, we don't really notice. We don't care. I'm not going to watch a game and be like, oh, look, Zeke's pass blocking is amazing. But it's just the truth of the matter. That's what is desired from an offensive coordinator standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, from a GM standpoint. So if running backs, those running backs that kind of perfect all three facets of their game, those are the ones who are going to get paid, And I think if I were to fix it today, what I would do is shorten the rookie contracts for running backs. Have them play on a 2-year deal, let them show their worth, because the position that always shows the most success early on in their career is running back. That's the ones where they can really thrive early on. With tight end, it takes more development. With quarterback, it takes some development. We, hardly ever see a rookie just, win MVP or break records. There's always time and development that takes getting used to those positions. But with running backs, we see it all the time. These guys come in and they absolutely light it up. Kenneth Walker did it last year. So it's a position where some of the contract stuff should be expedited to allow these guys to get paid. They should be on 2-year contracts, and then they should be allowed to hit the market, get paid what they deserve, and get out. And so, I'm not going to sit here and say these old guys or older guys like Austin Ekeler or, Nick Chubb or any of those guys should be getting paid. Derrick Henry should be getting paid a ton of money, because let's be real, after the age of 30, 29, running backs are just not what they're worth. And so if I was a GM, why pay those guys buku's amount of money when I can go into the next draft and probably find a really great talent for a fraction of the price? That's just the nature of it. And if you don't think that having, if you think that you need an elite running back to be successful in the league, you don't. Look at the last 10 Super Bowl winners. Jerick McKinnon was RB1. Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers were the split RBs. Leonard Fournette was RB1. Damian Williams was RB1. Sonny Michel, LeGarrette Blount twice. C.J. Anderson, LeGarrette Blount again. Percy Harvin was the leading rusher for the Seahawks back when they won. It's crazy. You don't need an elite talent to win a Super Bowl because it's just not necessary anymore. Teams want guys who can pass block and catch passes out of the backfield because you can find good rushing ability near anywhere. You can pick up a guy in the free agency right now. He can probably, do a decent job running the football. Now, pass catching and pass blocking is where these running backs really come in and separate themselves, contractually speaking. That's where they can separate themselves and earn more money in this league in today's game. And it's just the way that it is. I think that it's a hard line to draw because you feel bad for the guys who are ultimately worked into the ground. They carry, the football 20 times a game. They have 25 plus touches. They're pass blocking every other pass play. I mean, running routes. They're part of every facet of the offense, but they don't get, paid for it like the receivers and the running backs, or sometimes even the offensive line. I mean, offensive line is getting paid now because I think they're really, obviously, they're a key part to a football team. But at the same time, it's business, I don't want to sit here and devalue a player because, I think Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, they've been worked into the ground by their football teams, by their, coaches. And so they deserve that money. But when you're GM paying a player, you're paying them for the future, not for the past. So if I were to say, Derrick Henry, here's this, or Saquon Barkley, here's this, Saquon probably only has 2 or 3 solid years left in his legs. I mean, there's a steep drop off for running back. And is it worth paying Saquon, $13, $14 million over the next 4 years when he might only be worth that for the next 2? If that, I mean, I don't think so. And so from a business standpoint, it's completely irrational to want to pay an older running back like that. So my proposed solution, if I were, making decisions, would be nice. I would love to, but I'm just a guy sitting here, posting videos of me talking to myself on YouTube. But my solution would be cut the free agency down, do 2 to 3 year contracts, allow them to hit the market early on when their legs are still fresh, and then let them do their thing. Let them get paid what they're worth. And so, I also would say, running backs that focus more on every aspect of their game would get paid more as well. I think that's true. I think running backs who are elite pass catchers out of the backfield will get a lot more attention. So those guys will get paid what they deserve. And I think we'll see more of that down the road. But I just want to stop in. That's my opinion. Probably worth nothing, but that's just the lay of the land right now and how I think most people feel about the state of the running back and kind of what it's going to look like for the future. If you're watching, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the video. I appreciate you watching and stopping in here. Make sure to check out our other videos. We got, conference, division winners, player props. We got it all. So make sure to check it out. I will see you guys later.